Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the 2023 Mini Cooper two-door hardtop John Cooper Works. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. Check out their website. They have a lot of awesome new and pre-owned inventory. That link is down below. This Mini Cooper is finished off in Moonwalk Gray Metallic. They have an MSRP right around $40,000. And powering this model is the 2-liter twin power turbo 4-cylinder engine. Paired to the 6-speed automatic transmission, this pumps out 228 horsepower, 235 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the front wheels. This will do 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds. It weighs right under 3,000 pounds. It has a top speed of 149 and a fuel capacity of 12.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 22 miles per gallon in the city, 31 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 98.2 inches. Its overall length is 152.8. It has a width of 68 and a height of 55.7 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Mini Cooper, for the 23-year model, it doesn't look like there's anything changed. Mini Coopers have that classic design to it, including the very large grille right in the middle. Now there's sensors for this model and a lot of cutouts in that lower section to provide cooling up front. And then we have all of the red badging for that John Cooper Works edition. Mini badge up top. I do wish that this hood inlet was functional, but that's a nice trim piece to see. There's gloss black on the top of that grille too, and then some plastic in the lower sections. But this does get LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with that circular design to them. And then as you saw in the earlier clip, the hood actually has cutouts for both of those headlights. So it's a very interesting design to see. Now, as we work our way to the side, this has a set of 17-inch wheels with the John Cooper Works center caps, along with the upgraded brakes, finished off in gloss black for that wheel. Another badge is just behind that tire. Now, the plastic from the lower section of the bumper works its way to the fender flares and the lower side skirt. Well, this also has a really nice indentation in the body colored section. Gloss black for the gas cap, white for the mirrors, as well as the roof too. So it gives it a really nice 3-tone design basically. Full moonroof for a small vehicle like this, I think that's a plus. Provides a lot of light, especially with the back seat room and the glass there. And you'll notice too that there's this chrome trim piece that basically separates the body from the upper glass, which is a nice touch. Now in back, this has the white spoiler with the cutouts for better airflow to go straight through there, wiper blade and third brake light. This also has that classic design for the LED taillights with the British flag in both of them. This has a backup camera with all the sensors, gloss black in that diffuser, and then the center exit dual exhaust, which we will start up here soon in just a second. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, you can use the button on the key fob or up underneath. It is not power operated, but it is very lightweight. And this is a small vehicle, so if you're buying this, that is something to expect. This is everything that I brought with me for the day with the back seats up. So not a ton of room, but you can easily fold down the back seats. Just pull on this lever to the side of the headrest. You can push those down, and that gives you a lot more space. So it is practical if you don't have a lot of larger items. And then up top, we have 2 grab handles in the same design as the door handles, which you'll see here soon. But not a ton of space, but it's a small vehicle, so that's what you would expect, of course. It is still practical, though, having back seats. Now, you can lock and unlock this. And then with the door panel, there's gloss black and leather. There's the window adjustments. Mini Cooper is known for having lock and unlock on the actual release handle itself. So that is still retained, of course, a little bit of storage down below. Now the John Cooper Works badge is down on the door sill, and this has a really nice set of leather seats. Even that British flag is in the upper headrest there with the perforations. And these are manual adjusting seats, so we have all of those controls for everything, of course, even that leg support. But if we want to work our way into the back seat, simply just pull on that, where we can move that backrest forwards. From there, you do have to grab the bar on the bottom, and you can slide that seat farther forward. So at 5'10", I can hop into the back. We have the Harman Kardon sound system for this, speaker and armrest on both sides. Honestly, this is pretty comfortable. My head is not touching the headliner, so I could easily ride around town. We have the sunshade up top, so we can adjust that as needed. There's actually a cup holder right in the middle too. So there's 3 in the back. You have a little bit of a bulge here to help hold you. Honestly, not bad. I don't feel claustrophobic. We have large windows here, so it's pretty open feeling for your backseat passengers. So you could honestly use this as a practical 4-seater. Aside from the amount of space that is lacking in the back. You just don't have many items with you. Now I can move that seat back to its normal position. And once we hop in, we have the solid leather steering wheel, another John Cooper Works badge. On this left side, there's all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. Right side, we have voice commands along with volume and some scrolling dials for that screen. We have the paddle shifters too. But let's fire this up. With my foot on the brake, that engine start stop will illuminate red. I'll just hold it down, bring it to life. And looking at this oval shape gauge cluster, on the left side is the tach, right side is the fuel level, miles per hour is right in the middle along with some other vitals. Now you can't actually do anything in that screen, it's not configurable, but these arrows on this right side are for the head-up display. So this piece here actually raises up when you start the vehicle and disappears when you shut it off. These arrows go through your music. Head-up display also shows miles per hour and the speed limit sign, so that's your shortcut to all of your music. Pretty basic and simple, but it definitely gives you what you need to look at. Now on the left side, there's the headlight adjustments, dimmer switch. There's also a trunk release way at the top of my foot there, right above the hood release. And then right in the middle, we have that classic design for the infotainment system with the colors that surround this ring. This has a shortcut to the intelligent safety. This is BMW technology. So we have the front collision, pedestrian, and a few others there that you can monitor. Now, if I go home, simply just by clicking on that, now we can look at a split screen, navigation. We have weather in the middle and then some vitals on that right side. We can go into apps, so you can go through all this information, get into Mini, where you have a lot more that you can go through. And this is even controlled by the dial down below. So you don't have to use it as a touch screen. We have different shortcuts to go through, even menu, which gets you back to this screen here. You can pull up the navigation to go through all the information, and then you have phone and media. Honestly, it is a pretty easy system to go through. You can have more settings on the home screen that you can scroll through. Very similar to BMW, just a little bit different of a layout. So really cool to have all of that for this vehicle. Power and volume is just underneath that. We have all of the presets, tuning, and a few other controls. And then for the AC, fan speed's right in the middle, dual zone for this model. We have where you like the air to go. Heated seats for this too, and a few other recircs and AC adjustments. Now for all the toggle switches down below, there's parking sensors, the engine start stop. You will see the end of that illuminate to let you know if it is on or off. We have traction control and then sport mode. So you can actually go into a few here. You have sport. If you go up, you have sport mode. And if you go down, looks like you have mid for balance settings. And so you have a few different settings there. There's some electronics or auxiliaries down below, 2 cup holders, and then for the shifter, push it forwards for reverse. Very identical to a BMW shifter. Drive is going to be back, and then we have manual, so you can use that, or the paddle shifters. And then behind that, all of those controls, as you saw, e-brake, and then right in the middle, if we pull the armrest up, you can actually lock it into a few different positions, and then wireless charging is in the upper section of it. And then we have some storage in the glove box. So not a ton of interior storage space with this being very small, but glove box, side, and of course behind you is plentiful. We have toggles up top for the dome lights, as well as the sunroof and the sunshade, which is manual, automatic for that sunshade or sunroof, of course. But look at the amount of glass. It is so open. Makes it incredibly easy to see in this little car. As we set up now behind the wheel for the Mini Cooper, we don't get to film Mini Coopers that often. This would be the second John Cooper Works that I've ever been in it. First automatic as well. The last one I was in had the 6-speed manual transmission. So for this vehicle, I'm not sure if in 2023, I'm sure they still offer the manual transmission, but either way, it's pretty cool to see this little car. Now, at right around $40,000, you may be thinking, that's a lot of money for a Mini Cooper, and I would agree with you. However, if you look at vehicles in this performance category and the size of the economical car that it is, we have the Toyota GR86, which I just bought. The reason I bring that up is because it weighs roughly the same, and it's a 4-seater. You can get an automatic or a manual. Back seats in this are bigger. You can get a Mazda Miata, only a 2-seater, weighs about the same. Both of those cars are rear-wheel drive. This is front-wheel drive. There's a few others there that you can get in this price range. So to say it's overpriced, it's kind of competing with some of those cars in that similar performance like I mentioned earlier. Now, if we put this into the manual setting, let's give it some gas from third. And while this is not a highly performance-oriented vehicle in a straight line, I can tell you for sure that this is going to be an incredible handling vehicle. Now, the front-wheel drive might hinder it slightly as far as the speed you can go in turns with understeer, things like that. I'm not doing performance driving in it, so I can't give you that aspect of it. But with how light this weighs, this is going to be a very nimble and handling vehicle. So it doesn't have to necessarily have a lot of horsepower. It makes up for the handling that it has. This is a very good tight roads type of vehicle. Autocross, things like that is where this is going to shine. It's not a 0 to 60 going a straight line type of vehicle. This is something, and we'll get to some twisties here in a little bit. This is something that you will be able to take through the twisties and really handle extremely well. So like a turn like that, it's so planted that you feel no body roll, anything like that. Now, as far as driving this Mini Cooper, BMW owns Mini Cooper, so there's some things that have been carried over to this vehicle, some shared parts, things like that. But it drives very nice. It feels like you're in a BMW. It's very comfortable. The seats are good. Suspension absorbs all these bumps well. It's very well insulated too. And again, as we come around a turn, it did that like you were in a more powerful sports car. It's so lightweight, it's so easy to toss around. But I could see this being a great daily driver because of how refined it feels. It's on that cheaper side. I mean, there's plastic everywhere. It's not a BMW. If you want a BMW, of course you get a BMW. But for what it is, for the price, you're gonna expect that in some of the other vehicles that I mentioned. But this would be a great daily driver. I really don't see any complaints with it. You have space in the back for 2 people, and it's got a good bit of get up and go to it. And from second gear, here we go. Wow, that actually puts you back in your seat a little bit between shifts. I wasn't expecting that. It definitely gets up and moves. I would say that this is not underpowered by any means. Obviously, from my perspective, I would love to see more power from this little car, but for the power that it has and the weight of it, that got up and moved. You'd have no problems merging into traffic, anything like that. This is going to be a very fun vehicle to take on some twisty roads and really excel at cornering and those handling characteristics with some power to get you out of those turns and of course get you moving through the roads. But right around 40 grand for this John Cooper Works. The John Cooper Works package doesn't give you a whole lot. I do believe that the suspension is one of those, and you get the wheels and all the badging and things like that. Maybe the sound system, so there might be a little bit more than what I'm saying. But it's definitely a cool package to go with. And as far as maneuverability, such a tiny vehicle. So turning radius is tight, and as we merge back out into traffic here, got a little bit of wheel chirping there, being front wheel drive, and I wasn't even doing anything extreme there. So that is one disadvantage for front wheel drive, is that, but it's not overpowered where you would consistently do that, which is nice to see. And I'm sure there's some suspension components and other things to kind of help with any torque steer, anything like that. But super comfortable. I love the visibility. It's a big bubble that you can see 360. There are no blind spots for this car. And you have some nice materials. It's a good layout. It's a very simple car, so if you're just looking to get into it and drive, that's basically what you're going to do. There's really not much to configure. There's some settings in the middle there, but everything is laid out accordingly, and that's just what you're gonna do. Just push one button and you're set to go. So I like the simplicity of it. Seems like a very fun, smaller vehicle to own, yet it's still practical with the room behind the front seat. So I like that for its size, you can put some things in. Now it may be your only vehicle, but it may not, and it would be a good second vehicle if you still wanted a little bit of practicality and things like that. So that'll wrap it up for the 23-year model for this Mini Cooper John Cooper Works. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button. I will see you all in the next video.